What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 84, and in today's episode we are officially starting the World Cup with Canada here in Russia 2018. Now, before I go on, I will say that if this is the first career mode of mine you've watched, then basically whenever I'm managing a nation in career mode, if we ever reach a national tournament come the end of a domestic season, I hold on to any footage that relates to the club I'm managing until the tournament is over. So that means that during national tournaments you won't see any emails or anything club related until the tournament finishes. The reason I do this is because not everyone wants to watch the international side of career mode, which is totally fine, and therefore I don't want you to miss out on anything where with a club if you'd rather just skip over these episodes. And so for this year as well, I made a new thumbnail too for this Canada dream, if you will. You can see the thumbnail for today's episode here. I made this because it means that if you'd just rather wait until Watford come back, then if you see the Canada thumbnail in your sub box, don't watch it if you don't want to, that's totally fine. You won't miss anything Watford related. I'll keep holding the footage until the new season starts, and then you'll see everything in the next episode with Watford, and you'll see the thumbnail, come back for that, the original thumbnail in your sub box. So I just thought, this year I'll make the thumbnail, it'll be easy for you guys, and if you don't want to watch anything with Canada, then just miss out on the Canadian thumbnails, and you won't miss a single thing, because nothing Watford related will get shown in these episodes. But still, with Canada here coming into our first ever national tournament, the World Cup here in Russia 2018. You saw the squad I picked, you saw the group being drawn in as well. The world champions Germany, Sweden and Uruguay as well. And with Canada, I know some of you guys have been down on the whole Canadian dream and not really finding it too interesting, but for me, this is something I've never really done before, because these are a bunch of 16, 17, 18, 19-year-olds really. A couple of experienced players, Hoylett the oldest at 27, but for the most part, just a group of teenagers going to the World Cup as a three-star nation, and we take on the world champions Germany, the current World Cup holders, for our first game in the World Cup. Unbelievable stuff, really, couldn't make it up. But we started the brightest in the first half, but in the second half here, remember the name, Jeremy Djokovic, our 17-year-old Canadian goalkeeper, who I've given a captain's armband to. The biggest night of his life, leading out his country in a World Cup at just 17 years old, pulls off an incredible double save against the Arsenal man in form, Mesut Ozil. Unbelievable from Djokovic there, of course, a Watford Academy graduate, like so many in this Canadian squad here for this World Cup. But sadly for us, it was still 0-0 until 20 minutes before the end, when Kevin Volland would head in across and make it Germany 1, Canada 0. I know the cliche is that football is a game of two halves, but really this game sort of showed that for definite. In the first half, Canada were on top of Germany, believe it or not. We were playing better than Germany in the first half, but in the second half, Germany, tried to, avoid embarrassment in this game. They wanted the win on the opening game of the group, of course they would, being the world champions, taking on a three-star nation in Canada, but they got to a terrible start in the first half, weren't looking up to the challenge at all of facing the mighty Canadian youth team, but sadly for us, they would take the lead through Kevin Volland, and in the second half here, we had one attempt, but Djokovic once again made a fantastic save in the 77th minute despite being beaten in this game and kept it at 1-0, but Germany in the second half really did come at us, and I struggled massively in the second 45 minutes. I couldn't really carve out too many clear opportunities, and the game unfortunately did finish world champions Germany 1, Canada Youth 0. So unfortunately for us, our first game playing with Canada ends in defeat. You can see the stats there, you see the full-time stats here, you would have seen the half-time stats as well. Germany in the second half just completely turned it on, knowing it would be humiliating for them to not beat Canada in the first game of the group, defending their trophy, and they just really came at me, and I just couldn't handle it really. So Germany get the win by a goal to nil, but there's no, there's no sadness about that at all for us. We're not sitting there broken and heartbroken about it, because yes, it's a loss, but we expected to lose the game anyway. Really, we should be expected to lose all of our games, being the lowest ranked nation in the World Cup. But either way, it is a loss, and I was kind of frustrated because Djokovic's double save in the end should have been enough to get us a point really. Incredible double save it was by Djokovic there. I was not expecting him to save the first one, let alone a second attempt from Ozil. But either way, we lose the first game. And coming into our second game of the group stage here, we take on Sweden. Both sides losing their opening days. Sweden losing to Uruguay, and of course us losing to Canada. So coming to this game against Sweden here, it was basically loser goes home. If we lost this game against the Swedes, we would effectively be going out of the group stage after the first two games. And we didn't want that, which is why in the 42nd minute, I was so glad to see us score our first goal with Canada. Jeremy Haber, another Watford Academy graduate here, the best potential Watford player we have with Canada, with has potential to be special tag, plays in a fantastic through ball to Kyle Loreen up top for us, playing as a lone striker in this 4-5-1. He was pretty isolated in the first game against Germany. This time got better service in this game against Sweden. Fantastic through ball by the 17-year-old Haber, and there is Kyle Loreen after the fake shot to put the ball into the bottom corner and give Canada the lead here at half-time, as we are trying desperately to keep our World Cup dream alive. But in the second half, Sweden, fighting for survival here, took a shot from just outside the area which smacked off the post, and eventually Throwaways got the ball away. But as you can see, the full-time result was Sweden 0, Canada 1, as we claim our first ever World Cup victory in the second group stage game, because Sweden in this game, missing Ibrahimovic, missing their captain, leader, legend, didn't seem to be fussed at all. They were absolutely terrible, and in the second half they did hit the post, yes, but other than that they effectively did nothing. They whimper out of the second game with their second defeat, and after 2 games, as you can see here, Germany are top with 6 points, Uruguay are in second with 3 points, we got 3 as well in third, and Sweden in fourth. And that means that coming into our final group stage game here with Canada, we may have claimed our first ever World Cup victory with the Canadians against Uruguay, but that doesn't matter whatsoever if we fail to win the game here, because even a draw in this game against the Uruguayans would still see us exit the group stage, as Uruguay have got the better goal difference record with scoring 1 more goal than us, despite having the same goal difference record, if you will, because they've scored 1 more goal. That is more favourable. So coming to this game here, unfortunately for us, despite that win against Sweden, we still knew that failing to win against Uruguay would still see us exit the competition at the group stage. So coming to this game here, we knew our intentions were clear. We had to get ourselves the 3 points. We had to start attacking right from the beginning and try and cause a shock here and get ourselves through to the knockout stages. We did have the first chance of the game, but Muslera made a fantastic save. Then Uruguay had a good chance there, but that shot went just wide of the post and behind for a goal kick. But it was still 0-0 here in the 24th minute. We won ourselves a free kick though, 31 yards from goal. I decided to go for goal, and as you can see, it hits the post, then Muslera, and unfortunately then everyone misses the ball, and eventually Uruguay get the ball away. So off the post, Muslera making a great save. We've made a fantastic start to our final group stage game, but just couldn't find the opening goal of the game to put us in front and score the goal we needed. But that was until the 29th minute when we would get that goal, and it comes through Jeremy Haber. So we had to score a goal at some stage in this game. We were looking really threatening early on, and as we went down the left-hand side here, we drilled across into the centre, and Haber, the 17-year-old, I mean seriously, the Watford Academy's got some decent Canadian youth prospects, but none better than this guy. He's got the potential to be special. He's a 65 rated attacking midfielder. He scores there and makes it Canada 1, Uruguay 0, and I'll look at him even more favourably if he scores the goal that will send us through to the knockout stages of the World Cup. But also this guy as well, Jeremy Djokovic, leading the team as our captain. Another incredible prospect there, makes a fantastic save, tipping that shot onto the post, and then gets up quickly to save the second attempt as well, as he keeps it at 1-0 to Canada. And as Uruguay, of course, needing at least a point in this game to go through, continue to press. We look for a second goal here. Great save by Djokovic again, looking for a second goal here on the hour mark. McKendry slides it through towards his teammate, and again it's Muslera with a great save. So both goalkeepers in this game were playing absolutely fantastically well and doing everything they could to frustrate the two teams. With 10 minutes to go here, it was still Canada 1, Uruguay 0. And as Uruguay began putting us under pressure here, I had an important decision to make. Should we go for a second goal and kill the game off, or should we just try and hold on to the 1-goal lead? Well, I decided to go for the former, be brave with the Canadians, show that Canadian spirit, and with 8 minutes to go, what a decision that proved to be, because Junior Hoylett, the most experienced player in the team at just 27 years old, comes off the bench. He wasn't fit enough to start the game after the early injury he got in the first game against Germany. He comes off the bench and scores the goal that will surely now send Canada through to the knockout stages. So what a choke from Uruguay. All the South Americans needed to do in this game would get themselves a point against the 3-star nation Canada, and they would be going through to the knockout stages. But instead, they were 2 goals down, and from kickoff, they gave the ball away again to the goal scorer Hoylett, through to the Guzman, through to the striker, who takes it around Jimenez, who hits the deck. He plays it across to Lars de Guzman, and de Guzman, another Watford prospect, scores the goal that will cement Canada's place in the knockout stages for the World Cup in Russia 2018. He's on loan at Barnet right now, but he's also scored the goal that is going to unite a nation, as Canada are going through to the knockout stages of the World Cup. What a collapse from Uruguay. Unbelievable from the South Americans. 3 3 goals down against a 3-star nation who they only needed a point against, and it could have been and should have been 4 as well, because the final chance of the game fell to us as we hit Uruguay on the break once again here. Jimenez in this game was terrible, gives it to the Guzman, gives it away, it comes to our striker, through towards Junior Hoyle, looking for his second goal off the bench, and if it wasn't for a fabulous save by Muslera on the one-on-one, it would have been Canada 4, Uruguay 0. But we don't care if it finishes at 3-0, because we are going through to the knockout stages of the World Cup. Unbelievable, the Canadian dream lives on. 2 clean sheets in a row, 2 big wins in a row, first against Sweden and now against Uruguay. The opening game against Germany was a disappointment, but of course we felt we would lose to the world champions anyway. But what a way to respond. Back-to-back wins with Canada, and we are through to the World Cup knockout stages. But that does end the episode though, guys, so thank you very much for watching the video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed today's episode of Career Mode, then please do leave a like, so that is much appreciated, and of course it really does help my channel out, and I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.